because I'm from Kolkata and we have a large Marwari community from Rajasthan in Kolkata, I wanted to do something that, find a story that is native to Rajasthan, but also that relates to where I come from in some way. So this Marwari community has migrated from Rajasthan to Calcutta and set up businesses and so on over many years. And it's a migration that has taken place over almost 300 years. So I started looking at that and how so they migrated from a district called Shekhawati, which used to be part of the Jaipur state earlier, and Nagaur. So I am mainly looking at the migration that took place from Shekhawati, and they left Shekhawati, of course, in search of opportunities, but also because there was a great dearth of water. And so that is primarily what made them move in search of other opportunities. And they went all the way across the country to Bengal, which is very fertile and a lot of water. There's, we have a surplus of water there. And they got involved in the jute industry and tea and so on to start with, which are very water intensive industries. So what I'm trying to show here is two landscapes. On the one hand, the desert landscape of Shekhawati in particular. So I have, the very dry groundwater here with wells and somehow trying to extract the groundwater. I have the desert vegetation and the desert itself with the camels moving across the desert and the desert camps. And up there I've got the beautiful painted Havelis of Shekhawati, which is what Shekhawati district is famous for. And many of these Marwari families actually came back from Calcutta to their villages and built these beautiful Havelis and commissioned artists to paint them. And so that is what is unique about Shekhawati. And so from there I have actually along the railway line, I have one station at this end in the desert, and along the railway line I have the railway track and the train going all the way across to Howrah station in Calcutta over there. And so that part is the landscape in the cityscape of Kolkata and Bengal, with the river, the Hooghly there, the ponds of Bengal, which are filled with water and lotus flowers and so on. And then the station, jute factories, and the more sort of industrialized, polluted cityscape of the city itself, and the industrialization that the Marwaris actually became an integral part of in the city of Calcutta. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I have two little birds who essentially I'm looking at as the storytellers, those who, the mittu or the parrot is traditionally supposed to be a storyteller. So that's the narrative. Yeah, so that's what this work is about. It'll get.
How long will it take to make it?
Well, I've made it since I got here. I think essentially in this 1 week this work has materialized. Today is Sunday. I started work on it on Monday, so it's 1 week. So I spent my first 4 days at a textile unit in Bagru, which is 30 kilometers from Jaipur. So I started with my collaborator, which is a unit called Ojas, and a very wonderful woman who founded it called KANWAR from Jaipur. And so they essentially follow the traditional printing methods, the craft of printing on cloth in Bagru district, which is famous actually. And so with them, I did this mud resist printing, which is native to Bagru. And then we did vegetable dyeing with natural dyes. And after that, also some pigment printing with blocks that they had. They had a special collection of Shekhawati blocks, which were blocks inspired from the Shekhawati frescoes. So I used those, and so the initial part of this was actually done in Bagru over 4 days, and then I brought it back here, and after that I've been doing embroideries and appliques on it to complete the work with some student assistants from the Fashion Design Institute and a karigar helping me to finish. Yeah, so 1 week, which is a short time, but I hope it will materialize.
Definitely, the ideation takes more time than the execution.
That's true, yes.
So, how are you enjoying this festival, JKC?
Oh, it's been a wonderful experience. I mean, one is that collaboration that was set up for me with Ojas was completely invaluable, and as a part of the festival, because one of the agendas of the festival was to have contemporary artists collaborate with the traditional crafts and textiles of Rajasthan, and that was the main reason that I actually came as a participant. So that was completely invaluable for me, because it was my first experience in mud resist printing and natural dyeing, and this has been a great sort of enrichment for me. And so that is one. Secondly, the atmosphere of the festival has been great. It's wonderful to meet so many artists from so many different countries, interact and work with them, and I'm looking forward to the exhibition, because I mean, one is that all of this will come together, and then I think the focus that the festival has had on traditional knowledge systems, which we are losing in today's world, I think somewhere it is very important to keep those traditional knowledge systems alive, and so that we as a people remain grounded somewhere, because while moving ahead is all very well, but there is a value to what we've inherited, and I think that needs to be kept in place. It's not yet complete, in the sense that the embroidery, the execution is almost done. I think we should be done in another half an hour. But the whole thing now has to be assembled, and it's going to be this 8-foot tall cylindrical object, like a Chinese lantern, which is going to hang suspended from the ceiling about 3 or 4 feet above the ground. And so that actually has to be assembled, stitched, put together. So it's going to be a large cylindrical object that will actually hang. So I'm waiting for that to happen, and how it looks. I'll be excited to see it. Thank you.